Welcome ladies and gentlemen. As promised in the installation video, I am now going to talk you through what you are seeing on the footprint chart, and then I'm going to get you to start using it. Now I suggested starting on the GBP USD footprint because we will go through that together now for no particular reason other than we need to pick one. So I've randomly chosen that one to start with, but the principle applies to all of the footprint files I've provided you with, and you can do the actual footprint exercise I'm going to give you in the next video on any of the 4 markets I've given you. Further down the line, you can even choose other markets if you wish. For now, let's just spend a few minutes to get our bearings straight and understand what is going on by using the GBP USD footprint as an example for us to learn from. We can then apply the logic or understanding to any other market afterwards. Now for the first half of this video, leave your own footprint chart that you just set up closed. Just follow along what I am doing on screen. Then in the second half of this video, you can open up your own footprint chart and work through it with me if you like. I'll let you know when to do that. For now, let me just talk you through the footprint with the depth of market side by side. You don't need to do this. I am literally just going to have the depth of market here for a few minutes because it is going to help me highlight something I want to show you, but then I'm going to get rid of it. So just follow along on my screen for now. So first things first, what exactly is the footprint? Well, you already know. You are an absolute expert in market orders versus passive orders. This is why I had you doing those exercises. You know that market orders, the middle columns, form the shape of the candlestick. You've been working on this multiple times in the dome exercises. Remember, we came to the conclusion together that we don't need to look at supply. A, because there's so much of it, we never need to worry that there will ever be enough for us to execute. B, a lot of the times you saw yourself, it is being cancelled. So questionable how much is actually real. And C, most importantly, institutions placing passive orders are not even in the market. We covered this in extensive detail in previous videos. The conclusion we came to was if market orders, people actually getting into the market aggressively in the middle 2 columns are the candlestick, that means they are the market. And our job as traders is to determine the next direction of the market. So if the market is market orders and market orders create the candlestick, do you see it stands to reason? We want to bring these 2 things together. The market is market orders form the candlestick, bring them together and you have the footprint. So the footprint is literally the market orders you see on the depth of market wrapped up in a candlestick. Best of both worlds. Can you see by doing that, you end up with major advantages using a footprint over the depth of market. For example, number 1, we don't have supply distracting us. We already established that whilst of course we need supply to trade, we don't need it to make trading decisions, and it isn't driving the candlestick. Market orders are. That is why the footprint is much more effective for us to use over the depth of market. Number 2, we can now see how the actual candlestick is forming, which we don't see on the depth of market because it doesn't draw the candlestick for us. The footprint chart, however, does. And number 3, most importantly, we have an ongoing record of market orders printing historically for a period of time. And that third point is really what we are going to focus on and what is most important to us as traders, as you'll begin to realize. So just before I get rid of the depth of market, the reason I had it side by side is because I want to show you that the market orders you see here on the footprint are literally the exact same market orders you see on the depth of market. So you can be comfortable when getting rid of the depth of market. You're safe in the knowledge you are not losing out on any information. In fact, you're just making your life a lot easier. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to back up a little bit so we can see a relatively new candle has just printed. Pound versus the dollar. Let me just take a snapshot here of the market orders that have executed so far in this candle. Let's now just see what prints first on the depth of market as we move along. So 8 sell market orders executed at 129.10. That means an institution or maybe a large professional trader sold 8 units of the pound at 129.10. Look what has happened in the footprint. Can you see we had printed 9 at 129.10. We have now printed another 8 at the same price, 129.10. 8 plus 9 is 17. And what do you see here? 17. And same as the depth of market records the sold units on the left, the footprint is identical. It records the sold units on the left. Very simple. Let's take another snapshot and move it forward a bit more. We now had another 1 unit sell at 129.10, same price. 17 plus 1 is 18. What do we have here on the footprint? 18. Let's take another snapshot and move it forward a bit more. We now have someone that has come in and bought 15 units of the pound at 129.11. We already had 18 buy market orders execute at 129.11. Add the 15 that we just printed, 18 plus 15 equals 33. What do we have here in the footprint? 33. Again, same as the depth of market records the bought units on the right. Footprint is identical. It records the same bought units also on the right. Do you see the footprint is the depth of market? Now, we could do this all day and you would just see everything that is printing on the depth of market also printing on the footprint. The middle 2 columns on the depth of market is the footprint. They are identical, except the footprint keeps all the history of what is printed or executed, as you just saw, but the depth of market does not. What do I mean by that? Well, if I move this on a little, remember, we just printed 8 units, 1 unit and 15 units, but where are they? They've disappeared off the depth of market, but do you see? They're still there on the footprint within this candle. And to really hammer the point home, let me forward the market for around 10 to 20 seconds at a fast pace, and I want you to watch both the depth of market and the footprint, and I want you to tell me which one is easier for you to keep track of. Okay, I'll just do that one more time. As you can see, the footprint chart is a lot easier to keep track of. Do you see in that short clip, we just printed hundreds of market orders. If I asked you to tell me how many just printed at 129.10 on the buy side, if you just looked at the depth of market now, you wouldn't have a clue unless you have a photographic memory or your brain is a machine. You have no chance of knowing. Whereas on the footprint, I can tell you straight away, 86 units were bought at 129.10 within this candle, 68 units were bought at 129.11 and so on. I don't even need the depth of market. It gets better. I can even tell you that earlier in the day, 58 units or market orders transacted in this part of the chart. That is absolutely critical information because those people that bought those 58 units are probably still in the market right now. And that, ladies and gentlemen, that information is absolute gold dust. And anyone who is trading without that information of where market orders have been printing during the session, they have no chance of making it in this business. They may as well play roulette in the casino. If you don't know where other traders are holding positions, how can you trade? Fortunately, you are not in that position. You now understand just as well as any bank or institution does how important utilizing market orders or other people's positioning in your trading is. So let's just finish off the last couple of pieces of information you see here, and then we will get you playing with your own footprint chart, which you can see already is going to take your trading to a level you never thought possible. So for the last couple of bits, I'm going to get rid of the depth of market. I think you've seen you don't need it. You have everything you need here on the footprint. Now you're welcome to follow along on your own footprint, or you can do this after the video as you wish. Now, really simple. There's a few things to be aware of before you start using the footprint. Number one, let's deal with the MO delta at the bottom. Sounds sophisticated. It's the opposite. Very, very simple. It is exactly what it says it is. MO is market orders, which you're an expert in now. Delta is just another word for difference. So it is just the difference between buy market orders on the right and sell market orders on the left. Remember, the same as the depth of market, buy market orders are on the right in the bought column, sell market orders are on the left in the sold column. These are the depth of market orders, so it's exactly the same on the footprint. Right side is the buy market orders and left side is the sell market orders. So literally all the bottom is doing is it's just taking the difference between the buys and the sells. So for example, here we have 585 buy market orders on the right. You're welcome to pause this video and to add them up on a calculator, but they do add up to 585, and we have 672 sell market orders on the left. 585 minus 672 is minus 87. So we actually had 87 more units sold than were bought in this candle, but the market still went up. Do you see? Very interesting information. Perhaps the market is starting to slow down. How would you know that on this chart on the left? Impossible. You may as well have a blindfold on if a candlestick chart is all you're relying on to trade. Now you can double check these in your own time, but just one more example. So on the right side of this candle, if we add these up, we get 615 buy market orders, and on the left, if we add these up, we get 413. Remember, MO delta is just the difference. 615 minus 413 is 202. So we had 202 more units bought in this candle than sold. A very strong buy candle. Do you see? No two candles are the same. And if you rely solely on candlestick charts without market orders, you're in big trouble. Banks and institutions recognize this. That is why they are using order flow information almost as the centerpiece of the entire trading business. They know without this information, they have no trading business. Now, just a final couple of things before I get you doing an exercise. This third column you see here on the outside of the candlestick, it is literally the MO delta you see at the bottom, but instead of for a whole candle, it is for an individual price within a candlestick. Again, very simple. Here, can you see, for example, we had 9 buy market orders at 129.04, but 0 sell market orders at the same price, 129.04. 9 minus 0 is 9. Next price down, we had 14 buy market orders at 129.03 and just 1 sell market order at the same price. 14 minus 1 is 13. The same works the other way around. Here we had 22 sell market orders at 129.13 in this candle, but only 12 buy market orders. 12 minus 22 is minus 10. It just means we had 10 more sell market orders. Same as the MO delta at the bottom. When it is a minus, it is telling us we had more sell market orders. When it's a plus, more buy market orders. So this third column helps you identify the strength of buyers or sellers at individual prices, which helps you with execution, whilst the MO delta at the bottom helps you identify the strength of buyers or sellers of the entire candlestick. Can you imagine how powerful this information is to help you differentiate between a candlestick that matters and a candlestick that is irrelevant? No chance of doing that on this chart alone. Now, finally, you might have noticed some of the market orders are colored. I don't personally use this, so you're welcome to ignore the coloring. However, I've just kept it there for completion's sake, as some institutional traders I've worked with in the past liked to look at something called market order imbalances. All it's telling us is if the ratio of buying to selling is greater than 3. So for example, here you can see at the top, 53 buy market orders divided by 13 is greater than 3. It's just telling us in simple terms that there were 3 times more buy market orders than sell market orders at this particular price. The ratio, as you may have noticed, is calculated diagonally, but I don't look at it at all. I prefer to look at this third column because it's telling me the exact same thing. It's just telling us which side is stronger, the buyers or the sellers at an individual price within the candlestick. In fact, I actually prefer this third column because you see it helps us to identify these individual prices that stick out much easier. For example, I can tell easily, okay, at this price, 129.31, something unusual happened there. Some extreme buying perhaps, or over here at 129.15, something unusual happened there. Some extreme selling perhaps. Do you see? I created the third column because it just helps us easily visualize, almost in 1 second, some unusual behavior. In fact, I've highlighted a few here. So keep it simple. Just focus on the market order difference at the bottom, the market order difference in the third column here, and the general shape of the candlestick, i.e., is it positive or negative, and you're good. Do you see how straightforward institutional tools can be? All that is left is just a little practice. So with that in mind, in the next video, I'm going to give you a short exercise to do. Keep it simple. Focus on MO or market orders delta at the bottom, market orders themselves, and the little variances you see in the third column, and then the candlestick itself. So you have now got everything covered. You can see the strength of the entire candlestick at the bottom, and you can see the strength of the buyers and sellers at each individual price in the third column. Combined together, you're just going to be a million miles ahead of any other retail trader. See you in the next video.